Hey guys, and welcome to Totally Normal, the podcast about the validating, funny, and deeply human side of leadership and life. I'm Sara Gayle. I'm a consultant and leadership coach, and also a recovering perfectionist. So, this show is for you, it's for me, it's for the people who are holding it all together, the small business owners, the nonprofit directors, the team leads, and the caregivers who want to do good work without losing themselves in the process. So we're going to focus on part leadership strategy, part sanity check, because we need more of those, and reminding you that, yeah, that's totally normal. What you're feeling, what you're experiencing, what you heard, what you saw, you're not alone in this. So let's talk about why we're here. Leadership can be a really weird deal. Like, you get promoted, you start a business, you take on a bigger role, and then all of a sudden people expect you to have all the answers, know everything, have it all figured out. Sound familiar? You're supposed to be calm in a crisis, kind under pressure, and apparently completely immune to burnout. That's not real. That's not the truth. Leadership doesn't erase your humanity, it magnifies it. So I started Totally Normal because I kept meeting brilliant, caring leaders who were quietly drowning. They were asking questions like, why am I exhausted all the time? Why do I feel like I'm failing when everyone else says I'm doing fine? Or my personal favorite, am I the only one who wants to run away to the woods and start a goat farm? You're not the only one that's ever thought that, actually. Like, hey, I'd like to just escape into the woods. I know my sister is personally a huge fan of goat farms. She will get there. I see you, girl. Shout out my sister. Let's talk about what's really going on underneath everything, because this is always about that. There's almost always a reason why the symptoms are showing, right? So it's not just gonna present itself beautifully with clarity, because sometimes people who are challenging, or people who are confused, or people who are combative with you are all of those things because they need help making sense of it in their own heads. The myth of having it all together is everywhere, especially in leadership. But neuroscience, which I'm a huge fan of and you will hear a lot about here, neuroscience tells us that stress, uncertainty, and constant decision making actually wear down the same parts of the brain that help us connect, stay empathetic, and make good choices. So when you're stretched too thin, your brain isn't broken, you're not a meanie, you're not cruel, you're not cold, it's just overworked. Your brain is trying to do too much at once, and characteristics that you might not enjoy coming out do come out. So here's what's wild. Kindness, which I am the founder of Everkind Strategies, so I really, really believe in the power of kindness and understanding and listening to a person you're collaborating with or a person you're leading. I think you get further that way. Kindness and connection aren't just nice to haves, right? They're actually strategic advantages. Hear me out. When we lead with kindness, not performative niceness, not faking it, but actual relational intelligence, we make better decisions. We build more trust, and we create teams that thrive, not just barely hang on and hate going in on Mondays or hate logging on. So kindness isn't about avoiding hard things. Okay, kindness is not niceness. Niceness says, yes, sure, I'll take that on. I'll do this. Oh, no worries. That didn't hurt my feelings at all. No, it's fine. No, don't worry about it. That's niceness. I am not a fan of niceness for the sake of niceness. Kindness has hard conversations. Kindness is staying human in the middle of these challenging conversations, okay? So be kind to yourself, which means be honest with yourself, and also offer yourself a little grace and those around you. So let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, when I was in the position of director of communications for a national nonprofit, we had a lot going on. As any nonprofit goes. But my team and I were doing a big project, and we were on a tight deadline, and everyone was tired. Everyone was trying their best to stay on top of all of the requests that were coming in, on top of what we were doing. Everything was urgent, right? So you could feel the tension just kind of buzzing right below the surface. And then all of our progress, all of our momentum got interrupted. Because when you're in a communications role in a national nonprofit who is an authority on public health care for a specific group of people, you have to speak when a public narrative is happening, or when a policy is put out by Congress, or. Okay, so if it's something that we needed to speak on as the authority, we had the responsibility to write a press release, get that press release reviewed by leadership, send the press release out, prep an email for communications to our over 2,000 subscribers to our newsletter, get that approved, and then get it sent out. Get social media prepped for communicating exactly what's happened and linking back to the press release, inviting people to join our newsletter, creating graphics for that press release. So anytime something happened where we had to answer, everything else came to a screeching halt. As you can imagine, high pressure, some frustration from the team because they had to stop everything they were doing and start this other thing that was very urgent. And this day in particular, I was handling more stress than usual, more requests than usual from leadership, balancing more things, a little more frustration. And I called a quick huddle with my team. I said, hey, here's what we need. You do this, you do this, you do this. Great, 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 great. Right? And at some point, my frustration came out. And the next day, my web designer quit. Ooh. I'd never had anyone quit on me like that. Like, where it was so obvious that it was my fault. So, yeah, we had a meeting the next day. I said, okay, what's going on? Like, why now? What happened? And she said, I just don't feel like the pace is something that I want to continue to be a part of. And I knew exactly what that meant. That meant that the demands that I put on them were unrealistic in that moment. And the rest of my team, I had a team of 8, they did not say anything. She was very wise, very mature, and didn't have to take that crap. I mean, long story short. And so I had a lot of respect for her because of that. And I knew it was me. And so the next day, after I let her tell everyone she was leaving, because she wanted to, I called a meeting with my remaining team and I said, hey, I recognize I misstepped, I misspoke, my tone was disrespectful. The way I approached that conversation stemmed from my own frustrations of that day and had nothing to do with you guys. You were already dealing with so much to then be berated by me in that moment. I'm so sorry. I will be better. I will do better. If I ever start drifting into a tone that you guys do not like, it is not your responsibility to fix me or tell me, but if you want to, you can. You can send me a private message like, hey, you good girl? Hey, you doing okay? Because You're acting kind of crazy today. We don't like how you're talking. Like I am very aware now and moving forward how a single moment can disrupt the entire structure of a team, right? And that was on me. That was my responsibility. So I learned a lot from that, and I'm very intentional about making sure that I don't take out my frustrations on other people. So if you've ever done that, if you've ever lost your cool or said something sideways to someone who didn't deserve it because you were having a day, congratulations, you're normal. You're normal. It's not okay. You need to correct it. You should never take things out on other people. But it's not uncommon. Okay, you aren't a monster for doing that. So let's try something this week. Notice a moment when you override your own needs in the name of being the good leader, right? I wanted to make sure that leadership was happy, that I delivered on everything that was being promised, and I was past my limit, and it caused me to step out of character and lose a team member. And she was also working on some major website redesigns, so we had to figure that out too, So think about, notice this next week, oh, I shouldn't have said yes to that. I'm at capacity. Or maybe you just skip lunch to finish something for your team or for yourself or for your boss. Is that where you want to be? Is that the rhythm you want to be in? Just notice it, okay? There's no judgment. Awareness is where the leadership actually starts. Not in the doing, but in the noticing. Be aware of it. Don't be scared of it, okay? Like, you have the power to improve. We're all very powerful people. Don't sell yourself short there, okay? So, in closing, some reminders. You don't have to earn rest, okay? You don't have to earn rest. You don't, for those of us that work from home, work remotely, you don't have to get to a stopping point before you go to the bathroom. What are we doing? You have permission to listen to your body and listen to your needs, okay? If you're hungry, eat something. If your back hurts, take a walk. Do some stretches, okay? That work will be there. You can come right back, okay? You don't have to perform calmness. Don't be rude. But if you're stressed out, you can be honest with people around you. And if you're not in a safe space to do that, we need to talk about that. You don't have to have it all together to be a great leader. Actually, it's better if you don't. And we'll talk about that more as well. Okay? You just have to keep showing up. Be messy. Be curious. Be real. If this episode has made you feel a little less crazy, a little more seen, or at least made you laugh at some point because you're like, yeah, that was me. That's the point, right? So subscribe, share it with your favorite overthinker, and join me next week because we will talk about how to lead when you're running on empty. Okay? So thank you for spending a little bit of time with me. I think this will continue to grow. We're at less than 20 minutes right now, but I think I'll probably try to get to 30 on average as we go. But this is episode 1. So just a reminder, like, being human is totally normal. I'll see you next week.